Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cantina Social Hour. Happy Friday. Glad to be here. Good to see you guys. Hope everybody's doing really well. Yeah, it's Friday night, you guys. We were off last weekend, but we're back and we're going to have a good time. So thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. What better way to spend our Friday nights than to talk about toys and talk about our favorite things, our favorite film series, favorite, all that stuff. So just kind of want to run through and see who is with us thus far into our stream. So again, welcome. Peak Obi-Wan, how are you doing, my friend? Thanks for joining in today. Good to see you. We got Adam. Yep. We missed you too, Adam. We weren't live, so you didn't miss much. And if nothing else, you received less torture because we weren't on. Curry Brock, how you doing? Good to see you. July through November, how's it going? We got Jason. Jason, my friend, how you doing? Jason, good to see you as always. Tim, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Happy Friday to you as well. Who else we got here? We have Paul in the house. Paul, how are you doing, Paul? Good to see you. Thanks for joining in with us. Dodgson, how are you doing? Dodgson, good to see you. Yep, Bella Cantinian's in the house this evening. Sweet. Love it. Nice little crowd forming. Mary, how are you doing, Mary? Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Mary, you're going to enjoy some of the conversation tonight, I believe. Justin, how's it going? Justin, good to see you. Good to see you. Britt, how's it going, Britt? How you doing? Thanks for hanging out. Nice. So we're off to a good little start here. So, all right. So we got a good little show for you this evening. So I have somebody making his very first Cantina Social Hour debut. Never been on Social Hour before. And I'm really excited because, as you guys know, I always love to have new guests on the show, especially when, they're fellow collectors and fans of a lot of these things that I absolutely love and adore. So please give a nice, warm Cantina Social Hour welcome to Bill from DorkLair. Bill, how are you doing?
Hey, Victoria, how you doing?
Doing very good. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. So, yeah, no, I'm really happy that you're here because, just this week, and it was last month, you interviewed me, and we had a conversation for your podcast, in which, you just asked me questions about my YouTube channel, about myself, about collecting, and a range of topics. And the video was published earlier this week, and I just got to say thank you because that was probably the coolest interview that I've ever done.
Nice.
The questions were great. And I was basically able to just speak my mind and just kind of share like my experiences, and just thank you for that, because I felt like rewatching it, I remembered like that it's pretty, it's kind of weird to say, oh, I enjoyed hearing myself talk, but I really you remember like, hey, this is a journey. This whole YouTube thing, this whole content creation thing is a journey, and everybody that I've interacted with through this, everybody here in the chat, like it's been like part of that process of growing and learning and evolving as an online entity of sorts. So thank you very much for that. It was very well put together interview.
And that's the goal of the Toy Tubers, is to like kind of reflect back and think about that journey and to just kind of share that experience, and sometimes I think some folks who watch it are people trying to start YouTube channels or just fellow YouTubers who just like to hear that kind of that kind of experience. So yeah, it was great. It was an excellent episode, and thank you for coming on there.
Of course, and they've all been great. I watched the other ones too that you did, and it's always great to hear people, because everybody has a different approach and they have a different story, and it just it's cool to hear all those different.
Yeah, people focus on different things. Some people focus on the building aspect of sort of like building a channel. Some people focus on how it's like this personal journey. Some people focus on one thing or another, and it's so fun to just kind of hear everybody's different take on the whole thing.
Yeah, totally. No, so thank you. And if anybody hasn't seen that interview, You can find it on DorkLair. Links
Mm-hmm.
are down below in the description to Bill's channel and to your Instagram, and I believe your Twitter or X account as well.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check that out. It was really good, and your channel just across the board, like really well put together content. So congrats on the success of your channel, and
Thank you.
its growth as well, because it's good stuff.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So Bill, like I was saying, this is your first time on Social Hour. Can you tell us a little bit about what got you into YouTubing and talking about this little hobby online?
So I actually started podcasting back in 2015. So I had been playing this game, not a game. It was the Topps Star Wars card trader app. It's still going on. It's still like kind of around, but when it first came out, it was this really fresh kind of interesting thing to just sort of do on the phone. And then I started I had because of figure collecting, I had been on Reddit at the time, like just collecting figures and sharing and stuff like that. And then that kind of took me to like a group that had the same interests in that Star Wars card trader app, that Topps app. And then there was a couple of people that were like, we should start a podcast. And I had been really into listening to a lot of podcasts at the time and stuff. And so that was like my first experience of, content creation. And I just fell in love with having something that I was interested in and just chatting with friends about that thing. And then when that sort of fizzled out a couple years later, I realized that I wanted to start my own thing. And I didn't know long term what I wanted it to be. So, like, that old podcast was called the Trade Federation podcast. It was, that name is very specific to like Star Wars and, generally to like Star Wars collecting pun wise. But like, I decided I wanted to make something that could just be anything at any point in the future. I knew that at the beginning of that podcast, it was going to be Star Wars SH figure arts, which at the time I was like, that was my main thing that I was collecting. I was mainly collecting 6-inch Star Wars, and then figure arts was really starting to take over my collection at the time. And so the DorkLair podcast, which was all audio back in 2016 or 17, I think is when it started. So that was all audio at the time, and that was all Star Wars figure arts for almost, it was at least a year. And then after about a year, we started weaving in other stuff because figure arts started just like becoming a trickle. Like at one point, there was just nothing coming out. So we started weaving other stuff in. And then late 2018 is when I decided to start putting. So we would do reviews in every episode where we would just talk through a figure and review it. And I started trying to put those on YouTube. And then it started to shift over to YouTube. And then eventually we started shifting the podcast onto YouTube, and now it's basically a live stream and it's barely a podcast anymore, which is one of the reasons why I brought toy tubers in. I wanted to have something that was more of a recorded podcast than a live stream, because like live streams are not very interesting to listen to. Like there's parts of a live stream where it's just not fun to listen to as a listener of just audio. So the toy tubers is like, we don't have anything on the screen. We're just two people talking. So you don't even need to see our faces. You can just listen to it. Yeah. And so that's basically where I am now. I'm sort of like running through the, second half of the toy tuber season now. And then, it's pretty much almost all YouTube at this point.
Nice. Yeah, well, it's all good stuff. And you're also on, like I was saying, on Instagram, on Twitter, and we have links down below. So you guys go subscribe to Bill's channel. You'll be glad that you did if you're not already. Awesome. So let's go ahead and talk about the topics, just to kind of give everybody a brief overview of what we're talking about tonight. So as far as new releases go, we're going to talk about Asajj Ventress's lightsabers. We're going to talk about the Hot Toys Ahsoka. We're going to talk about the Hot Toys Darth Vader from Obi-Wan Kenobi, the blogger picks that just came out this week. Phenomenal. We're going to talk about the Star Wars Vintage Collection Escape from Order 66 pack, which, was announced last week, revealed last week, and we're off last week, so we need to talk about it. We're going to talk some Jurassic World 4 or Jurassic Park 7, or I don't know what the official designation is going to be, but Gareth Edwards being the director. He was director of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, so big news. And then we're going to talk about The Bad Batch, non-spoilers, but just kind of general feelings about it so far. And then we'll go into new acquisitions. What have we added to our collection here in the Cantina since the last stream? And Bill, if you have anything as well that you'd like to share. And then we'll do a little bit of Q&A at the end, which, of course, if you have any questions throughout the stream, please drop your questions, comments, concerns, but not your complaints in the comment section, and we will address them accordingly. All right. So just a couple comments here. Adam. Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed that, Adam. And yeah, we'll definitely continue that here as well. Mary. Yeah, Mary loves your interviews as well, Bill.
Thank you, Mary.
And Justin got his very first Jurassic Park toy, Raptor. Can't remember the blonde girl's name, but it was a 2-pack. I don't remember from which movie. There's been so many Jurassic toys, it's hard to remember. If Dodgson is still in here, though, I'm sure he knows. Fitmatic, how's it going? Thank you for joining us too.
What's up, Hassan?
All right, so we're going to kick things off with our first topic here. So, this is something that I know a lot of people collect these. I have a couple of them, but I'm not like a huge... I love lightsabers, but, after I got my first, like, aftermarket, third-party, like, fancy lightsaber, I like to call it the fancy lightsaber. It's like, the Disney Legacy ones, they're okay, but they're not, like, the tech isn't necessarily the best. But we do want to share that in any case. So here it is right here. It is called the Disciple of the Sith, Asajj Ventress Legacy Lightsaber 2-pack. And basically it is her 2 lightsabers. Now I know Hasbro did these, or I think Master Replicas actually did them first, I want to say. It's been a long time. And then Hasbro reissued them at some point over the last like 5 years. And then now Disney Legacy is doing their own versions. So they don't come with blades, but you're going to get this cool little like set. And it has a pretty nice looking box. I think it was mentioned that it's based on the 2D Genndy Tartakovsky micro series sort of inspiration. So that's kind of a neat thing that they use, because you don't really see that a whole lot these days, which is too bad. But it's a pretty nice set. If you're into the sabers, it is going to be a limited edition, meaning it comes with its own numbering system. So it'll have a little like certificate of authenticity with a number on there, which is kind of something that's not really done that often by Disney when it comes to these. So that's kind of cool. And you get the adapter so you can connect the 2 and make the extra long double-bladed lightsaber, which, I mean, come on. If you're buying these and you're not doing that, we need to talk. But you got to do that. But yeah, I'm not picking this up, but just for anybody that's interested, it looks cool. It sounds cool. Definitely, if you do get it, it goes on sale at Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland and Disney World on March 8th. And then on DisneyStore.com on March 11th. So if you're interested in those, they're probably going to be popular because these sets tend to sell out pretty quickly.
I love the through line, how, like Ventress has the Dooku style curved handles of the lightsabers,
Yeah. Yeah, it is cool. I remember back when the Tartakovsky series was out, like that was the first time we ever saw this character.
Mm-hmm.
And she was different because we hadn't seen anything like that in Star Wars up to that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was cool that because I mean, she's not really like his like apprentice per se. I know Dooku refers to her as such in Clone Wars, at least when he's talking to like separatists and stuff. But I don't think she ever really like was technically. But it added a cool dimension to Star Wars, and I think she's still a really cool character.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. Next topic here. All right, this is a good one. I'm excited about this one. This just came out today.
Yeah.
All right, this just came out today. So Hot Toys has been doing their thing with the Ahsoka series, right? And now today they've announced with pictures and everything. I think technically it was last night, but it was like really late last night. Ahsoka Tano Padawan from the Ahsoka Disney Plus series. So this is cool. This is cool. I think some of us guessed that this would be coming at some point, but to actually see it, I'm stoked. This looks great.
It surprised me a bit. Like I guess I didn't really see this coming, but I'm not like I'm lately over the last year or so. I haven't been as in tuned with Hot Toys. I'm still collecting them, but just like I've kind of been tuned out a little bit with them. But this regardless, this was a surprise to me. It looks good though. It looks really good.
It does. It does. They did a really nice job with it. Yeah, I mean, I still think about this episode of the show, and like it was everything. Like I absolutely adored it. And this is kind of like the first like Ahsoka we've seen from that episode being made into merchandise, as far as figures go. We haven't seen this yet for Black Series or for the Vintage Collection, or maybe some other company I'm unaware of has announced something, but I haven't personally seen anything. I hope those other companies, get on that though, because I'd love to see more from this episode, like made into action figures. But this is really, really nice looking. Yeah, just the posability and the rolling eyeballs is cool. It's always a nice feature to have.
One of the things lately about Hot Toys too is that not only have their prototypes been looking really good, but the figures as they release are also looking really nice. Like they keep doing these like excellent sculpts and then even improving them more upon release for a lot of stuff. Not everything, but for a lot of stuff lately.
Yeah, totally. Like the Obi-Wan that's coming out from the Obi-Wan series. Like they went back to the drawing board in that figure and they redid the head, which is nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great looking head to begin with, but they fixed it. Yeah, she looks cool. I already got my pre-order in. Bill, how are you into Hot Toys or 6 scale?
It's funny because like I was originally 6-inch, and there was a point where I was just so in love with Hot Toys and vintage collection that I realized I had to cut something out, and I couldn't get rid of either of those two, so I ended up cutting out 6-inch. So Hot Toys and 3 3/4 are kind of like my main things now. I was getting a little more heavy into them a couple years ago, so I have quite a few Hot Toys, but like lately I've been dialing it back quite a bit because there's just a lot of other stuff. Especially if people aren't aware, I'm like very heavily into Mythic Legions. In the last year and a half of Mythic Legions have just been just blowout, just numbers of figures, and it's just been like dominating. It's really not about. I guess space is an issue, yes, and money is always something, but it's more about the time. It's like I just don't like have time for all of it. So yeah, I haven't been collecting as many. I do have that Vader coming that we're going to talk about in a bit. The Obi-Wan series Vader that's coming. That's the next one that I'll be getting in hand.
Nice. Yeah, they're cool. I mean, they're really cool. They always, they do good stuff. What's also interesting is that they teased another Anakin in these photos.
So that's not the same one that they already. Oh yeah, because this would be from the series.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's got the shorter hair. The outfit. I don't know. It may be the same body. It's kind of hard to say just from this blurry photo, but
Yep.
it's definitely a new head sculpt probably, or at least the hair's different. So I heard some people speculating maybe it's an artisan release that they're going to do. Like, I don't know, but
I mean, looking at this shot, it almost looks like very fine hair. Like it could be hair, like rooted hair or something from this shot.
Yeah, it could very well be. I personally hope it's not artisan because those are a pain in the neck to get. But yeah. I mean, sometimes they tease things though, and they don't actually do them. Like I know they've done this before. Like they did it with Bespin Han, like
yeah.
several years ago now, and he never came out. So But yeah, it's at least they're kind of putting the seed out there, like, hey, maybe this will be coming at some point.
Yeah, I sometimes think maybe they gauge reaction to these teases, right? Like, what are people
Yeah.
saying about like how much they want this, and maybe that helps them.
Hmm.
Maybe one small factor in their decision.
Sure. And they have her post here with Captain Rex. This is the new Captain Rex from the series.
Yep.
Now, initially, I did not pre-order this one because I already had the last Captain Rex, which was a great figure.
Yep.
But it's funny because just earlier this week I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get it because I pre-ordered the new 501st, like the new versions based on the live
Mm-hmm.
action. I
Yeah.
pre-ordered 2 of those, and I'm like, okay, well, kind of got to get the new Rex to go with it because the old Rex doesn't really match them necessarily.
Right.
I think this one will, but now that they've announced Ahsoka, I'm like, oh, well, I'm kind of glad I did that because it'll kind of tie the whole thing together.
Yeah, I think if you only have a couple figures, like mixing and matching across is going to look pretty good on a shelf. But if you have like a whole bunch of stuff and then you got a whole bunch of Ahsoka live action, Mandalorian live action type stuff, and then you kind of mix in some cartoon stuff, it does actually kind of look different.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. This is everything she comes with. So she has goggles, she has posable Leiku, she has her lightsaber. She's also got an alternate lightsaber that has USB capability, so you can charge it up and then ignite it through its charge. You get a base, looks like a sand base with a waist grabber, and then several alternate hands that you can use with the figure. So, yeah, pretty solid. The price is $255, which isn't terrible considering what they've been charging for a lot of things lately. Um, I'm just curious as to know how big she's going to actually be because we haven't really seen like representation of that yet. Like we
Right.
know that she's probably going to be smaller, right? But the closest we have is this picture here with Anakin. It doesn't really like give a lot of context. So I'm just
What
curious
about
to
that
see if
Rex picture? Was that
that's a good point. Yeah. So we can look at refer to the Rex picture. Um,
it was after that one, wasn't it? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
She,
yeah, so that's he's
yeah,
he's crouching down and she's standing up straight, so it's not a good not a good example.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll see. I know they usually on their listings they usually put like the height indicator, right?
Yeah.
They put like and they say how many inches it is, which if I jump over here and take a look,
Some drop downs. Yeah, like right there.
oh, here we go. 10.63 inches or 27 centimeters for you folks who use the metric system. So almost 11 inches. That seems a little too tall to me, but
Yeah.
we'll see. At this scale, like even like a small difference is noticeable, right? So
And in some very like subtle posing makes a big difference too. A lot of people
yep.
they get very hung up on scale and they can't wrap their heads around just a quick little pose is gonna really make a huge difference when it comes to like looking right on a shelf.
Right. Yeah, that's totally true. Um I'm just going to pull up this photo really quick.
Justin Welsh says her clothing has been so different from other Jedi, same as Barriss Offee, and that's a great thing for collecting because it's nice to have a
Absolutely.
good variety on a shelf.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Especially considering how similar all the Jedi robes were in the prequels.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know why this is so tiny, but basically here's Anakin and Ahsoka. And you can see she is very short compared to him
Mm-hmm.
at this stage of her life. So I hope that the figure aligns with this and isn't like oversized.
Yeah. So that it would definitely need to be shorter than 10.7 or whatever
10.67, yeah.
to fit this.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure they've got things. There's time to adjust, right? Before it comes out. She's not going to be out until I think it said like January to June 2025, like somewhere in that window. So it's still a year away, probably longer, the way things go lately. But yeah. I'm excited for her. Adam says Ahsoka looks great, but I bought the previous one with her anime likeness and love it more. Yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing. We have options, and if you have a previous one, you don't necessarily need to get this one as well. I mean, considering how small, like it was only one episode really, and just a little part of it, like it's not really like an essential. I mean, for me it is, but might not necessarily be an essential for everybody. Britt says Ariana just out here killing on all fronts. Absolutely, she's in a lot of things lately.
What else is she in?
She was in Barbie. She was young Gamora in Guardians.
Oh, that's
No,
right.
not
Yeah,
Guardians.
yeah.
It was it Guardians or was it? No, it was Infinity War, I think, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Infinity War. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Fatmatic, outstanding likeness. Adam, yeah, the Poe they teased exactly. They showed us Poe Dameron so long ago, and yeah. Mary, same. Now I got to get Rex. Yep. Her clothing has been so different. Yeah, we were talking about that. That's yeah, for sure. I love the outfit. I think it looks great. She looks very good. She sure does. She sure does. I'm excited. Like I pre-ordered her like, same day. Like I was. And I love that they have the payment plans. So the thing is, how many figures have they announced from Ahsoka that have been like must gets like for like so far? Like Hera, Sabine, Thrawn, who else? I'm forgetting. I know I'm forgetting some. There's been several.
They did
Marok.
it like Ahsoka the White, right? Like,
There you go.
They did that one. Yeah.
There was Marok, which I passed on Marok. Captain Enoch, passed on him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Night
recently.
Trooper, the Night Death Trooper, passed on both of those so far anyway. Thank you, Justin. Hu Yang. Yeah. It's like, can't get everything. Did they do Hu Yang? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like I should know the answer to this without having to look it up. Oh, Chopper's who it was. It was Chopper. Yeah, so man. So what I was saying is I love the payment plans, but it can be challenging when, there's like all these many that you're making payments on. So
right. It just becomes like another figure. You're paying with all the payments, you're paying sort of like a whole figure every time kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I order. So I actually have been not ordering a lot of Hot Toys, or at least not pre-ordering a lot of Hot Toys. But I have been still ordering a lot of 6-scale figures because I've been kind of heavy into the Exo-6 Star Trek, which is kind of cut into my Hot Toys. And all of my Hot Toys, Exo-6, any of my 6-scale stuff, I order from a semi-local retailer called Underground Figures, Ray McNamara. And yeah, so that is the nice thing about that is he does like a email pre-order, so you can sort of like reserve it, and I can email him anytime if I have like some extra cash. I can just be like, can I just pay down this next one and then just pay off this next one when I have the cash at the right moment. So it's really nice to have that flexibility. But yeah, I've been doing a lot less Star Wars Hot Toys lately, and again, it's a lot of it is time. Like I like to spend time. It's just an experience, like opening it up and like just experiencing the whole figure and getting all the accessories out and trying everything out and taking photos and doing all the stuff. And it got to the point where I had some where I was like, I gotta wait to open it because I want to have some time, and this like I'd never get to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I gotta just pump the brakes on that and just like, get the ones that I can enjoy and that I have time for.
Yeah, for sure. It's got to be all about balance at the very end, balancing the force. Yeah, Hu Yang would be awesome, Mary, if they did him. Joseph, people's Mirok theories are way off. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why that figure there wasn't a lot of enthusiasm for it. It was like, he hasn't even been announced in the vintage collection, and people just don't really care anymore. So, Justin says Hasbro would be nice to have a payment plan because when they hit your bank for hundreds of dollars at once, kind of a shock. Yeah, I mean, last year that was really bad, like September and then November. It's just like they kind of everything got delayed, and then when it finally hit, it all hit at once. It was like,
Yeah, that's
ouch.
always a challenge.
It is, but that's just stuff they need to work out. Honestly, get figured out. Brit, I believe Marok is Starkiller, Plagueis Barris, and insert character here combined. It could be Brit.
All at once.
It could be.
Mm-hmm.
All of which became just a cloud of dust in the very end. So, Rick, how's it going? Pre-ordered Padawan Ahsoka tonight. I want to put her next to Sideshow Plo Koon on my shelf. That's a very good idea. I like that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so we're going to switch gears here to the next Hot Toys topic. And this is a good one. All right, so just this week, blogger photos have been published of the Hot Toys Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. This is the one that went on pre-order probably like a year and a half ago. It's been a minute. You know, after these photos got published, it subsequently pre-sold out on Sideshow's website because, and you know, it's weird because there were 4 versions of it. There was like the deluxe exclusive, the exclusive, and then just the regular edition.
Right.
And you know, I went, I went for the deluxe, like with the, you know, sometimes you got, when it's Darth Vader for me anyway, I got to get like, you know, the best of the best, right? So, yeah, so every version is now pre-sold out after these figures came out because people are saying like this looks like the prototype figures. It looks excellent. Nothing was lost here. If anything, it looks better. So yeah, this is really impressive.
If I remember correctly, the regular edition, the non-deluxe, was this right here and did not come with the undamaged helmet.
Yep.
Which is really the main reason why I ordered the main. Like, I don't actually have a Vader in my collection, so like one of the reasons why I was like, I gotta get the deluxe was because I can't get a Vader and not have like the full helmet too. But it's, I mean, I guess sales wise, it's kind of brilliant of them to kind of do it like that.
For sure. Yeah, he looks awesome. Like when I saw these photos the other day, I was like, man, they did it. They brought him home. Like he just looks, he looks excellent. I'm stoked for. I don't think I've been this excited, even though I do have an Empire Strikes Back Vader, but despite that, like I don't think I've been this excited for like a Hot Toys figure in a while, like to actually receive it, because this is cool. He just looks great. And you know, sometimes the blogger photos aren't that great. Like the lighting is weird and doesn't really like. I feel like sometimes the photos that they showcase don't really do the figures favors because they look washed out or, you know, just whatever it is. But like in this case, like whoever they hired to do these photos, like, man, they did a great job.
This shot here is good. It gives a good,
yeah, it's so good.
Nice neutral colored look at it, you know?
Yeah. And so realistic. And 2 Vaders are being released within a few months of each other because then we have the Return of the Jedi Vader coming out supposedly like in May.
Right.
So, man, this is cool. And these photos are awesome. Like honestly, if there was like a what is it that that contest that it's not. It's like a photography like thing. I know they have like every year, right? There's like a major prestigious award for photography. I'm trying to think what the name is, but they need to do that, something like that for toys.
Yeah. There's there's a show. So Trevor Williams, 1/6 shooter, has a show. It's not, you know, awards or anything, but it's a I think every other week or so it's Toy Photo Bomb, and it's toy photographers just sharing and breaking down shots. You know, it's a really great showcase for toy photography. It's on 1/6 Shooters YouTube channel. It's good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. There's some really cool things like out there like that. Also, 1/6 Scale Man has a who we've had here on the show before, has a Friday night feature where same thing. He has a YouTube group and people post photos and then they showcase the photos
Yeah.
on YouTube on Friday nights. So Figure Flex Friday. So cool stuff. That looks good. I started thinking about this already. Like I need to somehow like adjust. Like I have lighting on my DTOS, but I somehow need to make an adjustment so that I can light the figure up to look like they're doing it in these photos, because I feel like it's kind of got to be lit up this way, like to really like fully appreciate
that broken head sculpt. Yeah. Little red light off to the side.
Yep. Even the helmeted though, like I mean that looks awesome. Like it looks just like it did in the series.
Yeah.
But there are nuances between the different Vader helmets, of course. Like they were different in each film in the original trilogy, Rogue One, Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi. There are slight differences. Yeah. But this, to me, when I look at it, it looks like it's straight out of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like that's the Vader that I see when I look at this. So that's how they did good. And honestly, every figure that's been released of Vader with this cracked open helmet has been awesome. The Black Series was incredible. The Vintage Collection was awesome. The SH Figure Arts was great. Like,
yeah,
everybody's really knocking it out of the park with this version of Vader for whatever reason, which is awesome because if they didn't, it would be really unfortunate. So I'm really happy to see that they're all looking awesome. Yeah, he's got the 2 sabers too, which is pretty rad. Yeah, this is going to be a really versatile Vader. Like the display options, helmet on, helmet off, 1 saber, 2 saber. I mean, you're going to be able to do a lot with this. This is kind of like a one-stop shop for Vader, in my opinion. So yeah, don't miss out. If you're thinking about it, try and get in on it somehow, because this is definitely gonna be one of the Vaders to have for sure.
Do you have the shot with all the stuff, or is that still coming? I'm seeing these stands. I'm trying to figure out which stand it comes with. Does it just come with a generic Hot Toy stand, or is there I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember. Let's jump to Sideshow's website and take a look and see what they got there. All right, I'm going to switch over here. All right, so what stand does this gentleman come with here? It appears, if we look at the photos, these are the original photos that were with the pre-order. So I guess he comes with 2 bases. Okay.
So that stand was in the one of the most recent photos, not the. Oh yeah, so both of those stands that we just saw in those blogger photos are those 2 stands. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the deluxe comes with the helmeted head, like unbroken. It comes with the normal chest plate, and it comes with the LED light up base. If it's not the deluxe, then basically you get the rocks and the dirt base.
Whole bunch of hands too, which is nice. Looks down the bottom.
Plenty of hands. This is cool. This is cool. This yeah, this is gonna be like one of the contenders for figure of the year, I would say, just based on what I've seen so far. And they've all looked great, from the more recent Star Wars figures that have been put up for pre-order. So I am stoked. Adam says, can't wait for this Vader. He just shipped. I am so jealous, Adam. Mine has not shipped yet. I am
from where,
so
Adam?
jealous.
From Sideshow?
Yeah, where did you order from, Adam? Oh, here's a follow-up. Sideshow Apple always cracks me up. As an Apple, it's standard unit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they use the apple on their...
Who knows if it's a crab? It could be a crab apple. Who knows the size of that apple?
I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, where did you order from, Adam? Was it Sideshow? Because You know what? They are shipping because I saw 1/6 Scale Man. He posted on Instagram, I think a couple of days ago, that his was shipping. So
Nice.
yeah, that's awesome. But I am still jealous because I think it was a day one pre-order for me, and I'm still waiting for it to ship. But it is Sideshow, and there's no rhyme or reason to how they ship things out.
Yeah,
It doesn't always
totally.
make sense. And he confirms, yes, it was in fact Sideshow. Britt says, you get the high ground. Yep. We need to have that high ground every time. Mary says, looks like the stand that came with the Iron Man 85. That's actually that's a good point. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Brett says, got the thematic blue and red lighting going. Nice. I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. Yes. That's so good. Like that line is just, it's like that episode, I mean, I enjoyed the series as a whole, but like when you watch that episode and it comes down to that duel, it's like, ugh. That's what Star Wars is all about.
Yeah, it is.
Justin, do not like the oversized top part in Revenge of the Sith for being OG, being symmetrical. It had kind of an off-put feel. Yeah, I know what you mean. In Revenge of the Sith, he did have a symmetrical helmet, which he didn't have in the original trilogy, and it does look it looks a little too perfect. I know what you mean. Yeah. So Bill, you said you did in fact pre-order this figure, correct?
I did. Yes. Yep. I ordered mine from Underground, and yeah, it's usually it takes a little bit longer for like the smaller retailers to get them in, but I'm definitely pumped for this figure.
Rightly so. Man, I just got to jump back to this those blogger photos. Like, yeah, they did a good job. He did good. Yeah, like the lighting and everything is killer.
And they're using the hands really well and doing like a lot of nice poses with it.
Yep.
I love the red lights on this figure. I'm gonna have to do the same. Find a red strip or something to put next to it.
That would be nice. Hologram of the Grand Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Go back one. Can you go back to the previous? Just looking at the cape and the way the cape is posed and draped and stuff, it looks nice.
It does. That's a cool pose too.
That has like the way it's lit and stuff. It's very skull like. Like just looking directly at it, it's got that skull kind of thing going on, which is
totally
creepy and awesome.
Well, that's cool too.
The fire, yeah.
The rocks, yeah. It's whoever they hired to do these photos. Like, I know their names are on here. BG_toy art. They need to get these guys to do like all of the Star Wars blogger photos. Honestly, I mean, even like look at the effect they added here to his chest box. It's like sparking, and so is his helmet.
Yeah, he just got wrecked like right at that moment.
Yeah. I can't wait. I'm so excited for this. This is going to be one of those, like, usually because, I'm limited on like my display space. Usually I cram like several hot toys into one. Like I have detox. I usually I'll cram like each shelf. Like the one that has the most, I'm looking at it right now. It's like the Clone Wars one that has 1, 2, 3 clone troopers, Captain Rex, Anakin, and Ahsoka. That's too many figures to have on one shelf, but with limited space, that's what I got to do. But this is one that kind of just needs to be by himself. I mean, like, right. I don't think I could, I think he's really got to be able to shine on his own. I love the vintage racetrack that they put on that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, these are way better than the official photos. So good.
Seeing the little like reactions on the right hand side, like little
Yeah,
comments.
all the gifts. I wonder how much like the fact that this is like Hayden, like his likeness, that had to do with how popular this figure has been.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. And I definitely see Hayden here. You know, like it looks spot on.
Yep.
Let's go on the cape
Man.
there.
Man, and there's a ton of photos. Like we could go on and on and on and on, but and I'd be okay with doing a whole stream about that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and stop that there. But yeah,
Yep.
great figure. Don't miss out, you guys. Don't miss out. Please don't. How will we ever decide how to pose this? You tell me, Adam. You tell me. Justin says you have to change it every month or week. Many options.
Don't box the accessories up. Keep them out and keep swapping it out. There you go.
Yeah, you know that it's hard with Hot Toys because the boxes, like I keep the boxes because I have to. I mean, they're if you ever move or you ever sell one, like you need the box because that's where it's safest inside its own packaging. But they take up so much room, and then if you need to get in there and get an accessory out, it's a kind of a hassle. So
like that's one of the main reasons why I just tend not to repose, because it's like, okay, it's like this sort of project to go into the box. Like I almost need like some kind of system, like a drawer, like a lower drawer somewhere that has everything nice and neatly organized and like out or something, you know, would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. I know some people do that. They go through the trouble to do that and they organize really nicely. But when you're collecting TVC and you have some Black Series and you have Jurassic and TMNT and Ghostbusters and Batman and Marvel, you know, it's hard to keep everything like perfectly organized at all times.
Absolutely.
I kind of want to do my makeup like that now. I want to get a Darth Vader helmet, crack it open, and then just do my makeup like all burnt up looking like that.
There you go.
That'd be fun. Shave my eyebrow off. No, I probably won't do that. But yeah, maybe do like a red contact, like one red contact lens and all the scarring. That'd be fun. That'd be fun, but I'd probably scare everybody. Nice. All right. So I know some folks have been waiting for this one, so we're going to talk about it. All right, we're going to talk about it because I have some thoughts here. You know, I think they're fair thoughts, but you guys will be the judge of that. So from banthaschool.com, here are the press release photos from Hasbro of the Star Wars The Vintage Collection. It's being called the Siege of Mandalore 4-pack. And this comes, so the idea of this set, I think, is very novel. I when they pipeline this, I was so excited because I love droid figures, and we just don't get that many droids these days in TVC. We really don't. And there was a lot of potential here, a lot of potential. What you get with the actual set, you get Ahsoka. This is kind of like a repaint of the original Ahsoka from a few years back. You get R7A7. That's Ahsoka's droid that she had in throughout some episodes of the Clone Wars, and they actually made this figure already. They made this figure back in one of those Celebrate the Saga 5 POA packs. And they also did a Clone Wars version back in like 2009 or somewhere around there. But it's nice that it's back because that wasn't really a common figure. There's also CH33P, aka Cheap, and that is kind of like a chopper style CH droid or C1 droid. And then you also get RG1, also known as GG. And this was another droid that was in that episode in season 7 of the Clone Wars.
Was the chopper style droid in the episode?
Yep.
Okay.
And actually the back of the box shows them all together right here. So that's like a still from that episode where she's trying to escape from Order 66. Um, so here's my biggest problem with this set. Like I said, I love the idea of it. I love to get droid figures, but the execution of this set just isn't really the best. And if you look right here in this picture, this is like my prime example. If you look at the CH droid there in the middle, the chopper style droid, it's the same height as the R2 unit right there, right? Same exact height. But
Yeah.
if you go back to the figures themselves, and I think it really, you really see it here in this photo right there, it's way too small.
Yeah.
So that's what stands out to me immediately. That figure is based on Chopper, which they just released in the Vintage Collection late last year, and it's a nice figure, but it's, you know, I know a lot of people think it's too small. I agree, it's too small. If you have the Disney version that they sold through Disney Parks, that one's a little bit more correct in scale. But at the same time, I do think that there are series droids are a little bit too big. So I think those need to be smaller, and I think the C series needs to be bigger. So right away, like when these are the figures that you're dealing with for a set like this, like right off the bat, it's going to be far from ideal because you're already going to be having those kinds of issues here.
Yeah, and then when you add the price to it, and you kind of factor in like there's this kind of laziness, I guess, in like not laziness, but just unwillingness to maybe do like new sculpts or whatever.
Yeah,
It,
$69.99.
it's pricey.
And you know, if we were getting like TVC quality figures in this set, I would be okay with that price, to be honest. But when you look at what's actually in here,
Yeah.
like these are just repaints. All of the whole thing is repaints, and they're charging you a premium for it. The press release said it'd be $64.99, but the actual price is $69.99. And I don't like how they did the bubbles this way, how they made them so big, because it only highlights how few accessories you get with these
Right.
figures. Um, it's a nice card, but the bubble, you know, probably didn't need to be that big. And then there's also, you know, RGG one, same thing, you know, a really big bubble. But once again, the one I have the biggest problem with is CH33P, because that one's extra tiny and the bubble is just ginormous. And it doesn't come with the second like little arm for it to plug into the dome. And it also doesn't come with a middle leg. And they were very careful here, because if you look at the picture, um, the card art doesn't show the middle leg on there. So they were very careful not to, you know, to use a photo that doesn't show middle leg. But unlike Chopper, who has the wheel for the center leg, this droid has more of like a regular, you know, kind of like an R2D2 style middle leg.
Okay.
So instead of sculpting that and throwing it into this set, which would have made this miles better, they just kind of didn't give it a middle leg, which is really weird.
It's, dare I say, cheap.
Yeah, the joke just writes itself. Man, yeah, it's a bummer. I was really, really, really ecstatic about this set when they pipelined it, but the price that it is, like, I just see this being one of those like Amazon packs, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi set that they did, where, you know, it goes down to like 20 something bucks because,
Yep.
you know, people aren't wanting to pay $70 for such small figures. Man, what a bummer. And yeah, he really should have the two arms for his dome, because if you watch that episode, he had two arms like Chopper. So I'm not sure why at the bare minimum, if they were going to exclude the middle leg, why you couldn't throw that in there. But
Right, and Chopper has those, right? So why couldn't they just throw that in there?
yeah.
Speaking of vintage collection, there's like 3 or 4 clones on sale on Big Bad Toy Store right now for $10. I forget which ones. There's like one of the game ones. But if people are looking for building out some clone armies, there's a few on Big Bad on the daily deals today.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, some of the ARC troopers.
Nice. I'm going to just share this picture real quick to highlight my my evidence. So there's a still from the episode where that droid is featured. You clearly see it does have a middle leg. It's not a wheel like Chopper, and that's probably why they didn't include it, because they would have had to have tooled up, brand new tiny itty bitty part.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they did it really well with Chopper, because you just pull the leg out if you want to take it out, and then you put it in. They could have easily tooled a little tiny piece for this figure, but budget cuts and all that, right? So, I know nobody sets out to make a toy that doesn't meet collectors' standards, right? But you got to call it out, because it's really unfortunate in this case.
I think there's like this mentality of like, well, you're not going to get it unless you get it like this. And I think there's a lot of collectors out there that are kind of like, I'd rather not have it kind of thing. Like, it's like, just do it right or don't do it at all. And they're like, well, you're not going to get this if we don't do it like this. And it's sort of like this weird like gap between expectations and what they're doing.
That's how I feel about it. I mean, it's like Hunter, right, from the Bad Batch. Like, I literally do not have him on display because I don't have anywhere to put him.
Right.
He's lonely, and his teammates aren't even pipeline at the very least. So it's going to be years before we get those other figures.
I know. I literally just always have my Hunter just randomly like over here, like just right here. Like I just always have him hanging out because there's nowhere to put him.
Yeah. If you look at the picture here of Cheap, also you can see that on the lower part of his torso, like there's no exposed insides. But when you look at the figure, because they reuse the Chopper body, they have he has the exposed insides right there. He's missing a panel. So there's multiple ways that this figure was done dirty.
Yeah.
Poor Cheap.
Yeah, when you go back and forth between them, it really does not look even like the same cylinder. It just looks completely different.
Yeah. So disappointing. Like I said, I was really excited for this set because droids are just far and few between in the vintage collection. But I think if nothing else, this speaks to the fact that they need to go back and resculpt all of these droids, because they're not working. Like our units are too big. This one's too small. And then even like the C-3PO, like the vintage collection one's tiny, right? So I think once we get the A New Hope, Luke, Leia, Han, Ben Kenobi out of the way, I think the droids need to kind of go back. They need to go back and look at those again, because, we still don't have definitive versions of any of these droids. And I think new sculpts would be like evergreen. They could reuse them over and over and over and over again if they just invested in brand new tooling for these guys. So yeah, that is the 4-pack. The Ahsoka figure itself, like I said, it looks to be a slight repaint of the previously released one, which was a fantastic figure, one of the best figures that they've ever done.
It's a good one.
But it did get made like in huge quantities, and it did like go like on deep clearance because they made so many of them. So I don't know. Does that help this set? Does it make it more appealing for people that maybe don't have, want the droids but already have the figure, but then it's $70? Like, I don't know. My biggest fear with this set is that it goes to like deep discount, like $20, $30. And then Hasbro looks at it and then they say, well, we tried doing droids. People didn't buy them. We're not doing droids anymore.
Right. Yeah. That's their MO. Is this a fan channel or is this a specific exclusive?
It's an Amazon exclusive.
It's Amazon. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that with Amazon for sure. I could see it going super discount.
Right.
But I mean, we're in a weird place with collecting across everything, where like we're coming out of this couple year stretch where like everything was like super over ordered. Retailers over ordered everything. Collectors pre ordered everything, to the point where it just seemed like everything, and not just Star Wars, but everything was going on clearance, especially towards the end of last year and like the last few months and stuff. And I think there's going to be a huge dialing back of like, I think people are going to be a little gun shy, especially retailers are going to be a little gun shy in terms of their quantities ordering.
Mhm.
So you never know with stuff like this,
Sure.
but yeah, I just don't see the demand being there for this particular one.
Yeah, huge bummer.
Like I'm not buying this.
Yeah, and I've heard that from other collectors too that are normally like all in, like they're gonna wait it out, and I mean it's hard to blame people, when this is the end result. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but I do think that for the good stuff, I think there's going to be collectors who are they're now trained, and they've sort of trained themselves, or the market has trained them to just stop pre-ordering and just wait for clearance or discounts. And I think that pendulum is gonna swing back, and people are gonna be sitting empty-handed with a lot of stuff, like maybe about a year from now. Like the stuff that's being pre-ordered now is gonna be short ordered. I have a feeling.
sure. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Makes sense. Just to read through some of the comments here. Justin says, I feel there's been a scaling issue for Hasbro for a while. Yeah, and some of it is, and I assume this is what it could have been for the chopper figures. When they cast like these molds that they send to China to the factories to tool the figure, like to create the actual figures themselves, there is some shrinkage of the material. So usually what they do to account for the action figures being 3 3/4 inch, they'll oversize them just a little bit, because when the material comes out of that press, it's really, really hot, and it naturally shrinks just a little bit. So I assume that they didn't account for Chopper adequately, and he's actually smaller than he should be. I think that's probably what happened here. But at the end of the day, we're having to live with less than stellar offerings as a result of that. Um, so yeah, no, you're not wrong, Justin. I mean, there definitely is there is something way off about these, and I hope they do address it. Um, like why not a small card crumb with Jabba, Salacious Crumb? Yeah, I mean, there is the one from. Is that coming, Bill? Do you know, is that coming with the vintage collection Jabba the Hutt later this year? I know
I
it's
don't
coming
know.
with 88, but is Salacious Crumb in there?
That I'm not sure. I ended up canceling my Palace, and then just not ordering Jabba because of that whole thing. I just became like this weird thing where I was excited for the Palace, and then I was like, yeah, we're gonna get a Jabba, and it's gonna come like with around the time of the Palace, and then that didn't happen, and I don't know. I just lost enthusiasm for the Palace, and then I kind of then turned around and ignored that Jabba.
Yeah. You know what I need to go back and look at to confirm this? Oh, Mary's on top of it. And says Peak Obi-Wan, Crumb is coming carded. So yeah.
Okay.
I think the number on it is like is maybe different. But it is coming on a card. So yep, and this is what it was, Justin. That's what I actually just went to go look up right now, is the checklist that Steve Evans put up there. Um, so yeah, it comes with 88 and with Salacious Crumb, and both are on card. So double dipping. You're gonna have to buy 2 sets if you want to get your carded Salacious Crumb and
carded,
88.
yeah.
2 sets, that's $160, but some of us are big suckers and we'll do it anyway. Let's see here. PW1 says that they made this for me, but hard to justify the price. Yeah, I feel like this is something that really, would appeal to me as well. Like, this is something that really spoke to me. Like, oh, droids, oh, Ahsoka. But then it's like $70. $70.
It's a tough pill to swallow when you get this in hand and you're like, sweet, I got my figure in hand. I paid $70. Okay, fine, whatever. And then 2 months later, it's $20. Like that's a tough thing to like have repeated again and again on you as a consumer.
Yeah, no, for sure. PW1 also saying we're about to go into a dark time. Not to be a downer, but yeah. I mean, I think based on the vintage collection, at least, they had to make some shuffling around happen when the writer's strike postponed Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte, and kind of pushed them. There were other figures that were going to be coming sooner than they actually are, because they really want to tie them into those shows and not have the figures come out super early. So I mean, I can kind of understand a little bit, like all the Mandalorian product that we know is coming. I mean, personally, I'm pretty mandoed out as far as the figures go, but maybe instead of like another Axe Woves, you do something different. Like you bring back like an awesome Cantina alien, let's say, or there's so many other things that you could reissue that maybe would be a little more important at this stage. I don't know if I'd say it's a dark age that's coming or a dark time, but I think there's definitely going to be ups and downs. There always have been, and I think we'll continue to see that.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of a show the Acolyte ends up being. Like when Andor came out, and it was like, not a toy show, like not a show that's going to put out a lot of toys kind of thing, and it never became that. I wish it did. Like I love that show so much that I'll take random guy in a uniform toy, but like whatever Acolyte ends up looking like in terms of like toy potential will have a big factor, because I think that's a major aspect of it.
Sure. 1/decimal 2 note, how's it going? I think overcorrection can be seen as limited time pre-orders. I'm not taking any chances though. If I want it, I'm pre-ordering it. That's also sound logic to have. I mean, it's far worse to hesitate on something and miss out and have to pay a lot more later than to, just kind of suck it up early on and bite the bullet for it. I mean, that's happened to me. Don't make my mistakes. I've waited on things, not for TVC specifically, but on other lines that I've collected, and it's like, oh, I missed that because I waited a year and I should have gone in a lot sooner.
Yeah, if I loved these droids, if I was like, oh my god, these are like my favorite droids ever, and I gotta have this set, I would have no hesitation to pre-order it. But like it's it's a figure I already have essentially with the Ahsoka figure, and then 3 fairly mediocre droids for me.
For sure. Britt says High Republic aesthetic is pretty awesome, so I think it'll be toyetic. Yeah, that could be cool. I can definitely see how that could be pretty catchy.
I've been loving. I haven't read everything, but I've read about a handful of High Republic books, and I think it's fantastic world. I think it's just an awesome, like recent past kind of look into the Star Wars universe.
Nice. All right, so I will stop with the droids. Stop ranting on the droids. I love the droids. I just don't. These aren't the droids I was looking for.
There you go.
All right, we're gonna switch gears here to Jurassic World 4 or Jurassic Park 7. I don't know what the official or unofficial way of calling it is, but This is something that is happening, and we talked about in the last stream. Um, that they released an announcement date of July, I forget the date, July of 2025, which is really, really, really soon in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like a feature film, especially one like Jurassic, which is going to require a lot of post production.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, when we last streamed, we talked about the rumors. That strongly suggested that director David Leitch was going to be directing this movie. He was like in final negotiations, but something fell through. Now they're saying, this is from the Hollywood Reporter, so it's probably going to happen. Gareth Edwards is going to be directing the new Jurassic film, which of course he directed Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, and prior to that directed Godzilla 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely has a track record with big, flashy, blockbuster films. Um, I like this. I like this a lot. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, those are the only two movies of his that I've seen, and they're both great. So I think it's a good choice. I'm not a huge. I actually haven't seen all of the Jurassic World movies. I've seen all of the Jurassic Parks, and I've seen the first Jurassic World, and maybe the second. I think just the first one. Um, and I like them all, but I'm not like a diehard fan of it, so it's tough for me to have much of an opinion. But this seems good.
Yeah, I've been all over the place. Like I mean, so I loved when the first movie came out. I was the right age. I was a little kid, right
Mm-hmm.
age for it, and I loved it. Like it was the greatest thing at that point I had ever seen. Um, because I wasn't around like during the original trilogy, and I didn't find that until a little bit later for Star Wars. But
Mm-hmm.
like Jurassic, I was like right there, like for that. Like it was kind of like a generational event of sorts. It was
Yeah.
huge.
Oh yeah, it
And
was
the
huge.
toys, like that's the toys, like I had loved dinosaur toys up until that movie came out. And when that movie came out, dinosaur toys just were taken to a whole other level. They didn't look anything like what Kenner did before Jurassic Park. They were all over the crazy like designs and very plasticky with big ol' eyes and all kinds
Mm-hmm.
of weird stuff. Probably the best would have been like the Mattel like Dino Riders. I would say were probably the best
Right.
dinosaurs up to that point. But Jurassic just really did like they kind of revolutionized that format and that world building of it when you incorporate humans and dinosaurs and vehicles and play sets like all together. So that first movie was a big deal to me, and the Lost World, of course, Jurassic Park 3. Um, but then Jurassic World, all these years later, and I loved Jurassic World. Like that's my favorite sequel um, to the original Jurassic Park. But then, Fallen Kingdom, Dominion, I just wasn't really a fan, unfortunately. Which I felt like I should have loved Dominion because, well, you have the original cast, but
Right.
they didn't utilize them very well, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I mean, I still love this franchise, and I still believe in it. I think if you have the right story and you have the right director and you have the right vision, there's still the potential to do really great things with it. Not to mention, we will get more toys with more movies. So yeah, I think there's potential here, and I just hope they don't like really, really. I hope they're not 100% beholden to that July 2025 data because that's very limiting for something like this that hasn't even begun like filming or anything. So I
Right.
hope that they maybe are willing to extend that and make this as best as it can be rather than just trying to make a quick buck, kind of like really get in there and make a quality movie that is, maybe not as good as the original Jurassic Park. I don't know if you can do that, but at least, is in the service of being a serviceable sequel to that film.
Yeah, a worthy entry in the universe like that is like just barely over a year at this point. I mean, we're heading to spring pretty soon, so like that's not a lot of time to make a movie.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's just weird to me to release like a release date with no other official news. That's just really
Mm.
that's unheard of. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a cool direction for that franchise. And I just hope that this. I know they're bringing David Koepp back. He did co-write the original film. So hopefully they do something good with it. I don't need it to be like this big, like grand, like Dominion kind of try to be like a global like story. Um, I don't mind like a smaller, more self-contained type story.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's done right. Thank you, Peak Obi-Wan. Yes, absolutely. Not to sound influency, but yes, hit the like, subscribe. Not just to me, but to Bill as well. Yeah, the creator was another one, Adam. Yeah, that was another one that he did. Dodgen says that his worry is that executives, starting directors, or writers' vision just want to play it safe or by their own rules. Yeah, that's always a concern, especially I feel like with like Universal Studios. Like I feel like a lot of the time that's what it is. It's just like, hey, let's go make this movie and make a lot of money, and then not really necessarily the best movie possible. So I hope they figure that out. Adam, there are definitely more great JP films to be made. I think so. I definitely think that it's possible. I think they just got to have the right story. 172 decimal note. This is going to back in the chat, but 10.6 inches is about 5'4" for the Ahsoka scaling. That should be about right. Interesting.
Yeah, it's funny because like, in your head you're like, it's only about an inch shorter than 12 inches, but like when you translate that to feet, it's a foot and a half. It's actually a lot more than it seems in
Sure.
like numbers wise.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Dave, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Hope this is smaller budget and story. Yeah, I'm totally cool with that. Like, it doesn't, like I was saying, it doesn't need to be like a global scale type film. But just do a good story. Just tell a good story, even if it's a smaller, more self-contained, like one-off story. Just do a good job with it, like honestly. Um yeah. So that is pretty cool. All right, we're gearing up for our last little topic here before we get close to wrapping up. So, The Bad Batch season 3 is underway. The first 3 episodes of the season came out on Wednesday. And who watched it? Let me know in the comments here if you watched it. Did you check it out? What did you think? We're not talking spoilers here because I know not everybody's seen it yet. It just came out a couple of days ago. But yeah, just generally speaking, how did you guys feel about it? Bill, you said you haven't quite seen it yet, correct?
No, I haven't watched it yet because I'm still Disney Plus less right now. I canceled it. I was supposed to renew October-ish, like the anniversary of Disney Plus. I originally subscribed and it was like 60 a year or 70 a year or something. And then it re-upped this last time and it was like so much more. That I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a little break from Disney Plus and wait till like the next season of whatever I want to watch hits, and then I'll resubscribe. So I'm kind of like looking at this and thinking, all right, this is gonna end in May, so maybe I'll subscribe back up again in like mid-April, like the beginning of April, maybe to like just like do a month, and then watch this show, give my daughter her relief of having a Disney again for a while. I feel like a horrible person, like taking Disney Plus away from my daughter for now. And we'll probably never cancel it again once we get it back up again. But uh, but I've just been like, you know what? They jacked it up so much that I'm like I'm good without it for a while. So yeah, I haven't re-upped it yet. Um, and like I'm typically like I'm gonna be fine. Like if somebody spoils something for Bad Batch, like I'll be fine because typically, like if I get to the end of the season and I can watch, a good chunk of like maybe like the last arc or two and be unspoiled, it'll be fine. It'll be fun and it'll still be enjoyable. And like all Star Wars, like as far as I'm concerned, if it's worth watching after you already know what happened because that's kind of like always been Star Wars for me. So, yeah, I've just kind of committed to being like, all right, I'm gonna miss it for a while, maybe get spoiled, and then jump in halfway.
Right on. Yeah. Firstly, this poster is really cool. I really like this poster they made. I love how they feature the Emperor on here.
Mm,
Um, I think the show season 3 is off to a really strong start.
nice.
Season 1, I was like, eh. Season 2, I thought, towards the end of the season, it started getting, quite good. But season 3, like, they're just getting into the story. Like, they're not really like hasn't been any filler. It's been the
Mm-hmm.
story. Um, so I kind of appreciate how they released those 3 episodes together because they kind of all fit like as one like story.
That's good.
And everybody you see in this poster has already appeared. So it makes you wonder who's not appeared yet that's going to be in the series. But I love that. I really like where things seem to be headed. Without mentioning anything specific, but I I'd also say the animation looks incredible, and the music really stood out to me. There's very dramatic music, and it really like fits the animation style. And
Season two had its ups and downs, but one
yeah,
thing that was always up was the animation. I thought the
yep,
animation was spectacular for season two.
for sure. Um, yeah, no, it's cool. I wasn't really like, oh, Bad Batch is coming back because I've it's had its ups and downs, but like it's off to a really strong start. I'm digging where things are headed, and I'm actually like now I'm excited about how they're going to end this series.
Mm. Yeah, this is the last season, right?
Yep. Some of the comments here, Britt, love my girl Omega. Yeah, she's definitely her story is continuing to unfold. Justin BB3 was a little dark. I felt it was not too bad. The first 3 episodes, I assume season 3. 17 decimal 28 loved it. It had a darker feel. It did definitely has a darker feel too compared to those first 2 seasons.
The deeper you get into the Empire, the age of the Empire, it's just naturally gonna get dark. You know,
Yeah,
like I actually love in whether it's the comics or the novels, like I really love this era and just kind of exploring this in between era, between between the prequels and the OT, like that whole realm. Like there was that one, the Charles Sewell Vader run on Marvel Comics. I think it might have been his second run of Vader. There's a really good run of him like doing like Jedi hunting type stuff in there. Yeah, I just love that era.
yeah. It is a really like, and even now, even though we've had like Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Bad Batch, like there's still a whole lot of time frame in there for them to work with. So there's still plenty of stories to be told.
Yeah, there's threads
Um,
to connect. There's just so many
yep,
threads to connect between the prequels and the OT.
definitely. Compared to season 2 opener, I'm glad they jumped right in for season 3. Yep, they got right into the story. No waiting, like just cutting to the chase. Peak Obi-Wan says, I liked it. Makes me nostalgic for Clone Wars. Fatmatic,
Mm-hmm.
awesome start to season 3. Mary, loving Bad Batch season 3. Adam, loving it too. The score is amazing. Mary says, can't wait for Asajj Ventress, which she is in one of the trailers, so we know she is
Mm-hmm.
going to be in the series.
Yep.
It's weird, no tech. Yeah, poor tech. But, he took one for the team, literally, so
Mm-hmm.
got to respect that. Rick says, watch the first 3 episodes the day they drop. I've always enjoyed the show, but I'm glad they made it a 3-episode drop. Amazing voice acting and music happening, slow build, and love the mystery. I think that's really well said. I think that really says it well.
They probably should have made So I'm trying to remember. I'm thinking back to Andor and how it kind of had a weird feel to the start, and I feel like did they drop a couple episodes initially when it was Andor? Because I feel like it felt very like an episode would end and it just seemed like it was just cut randomly, and then you would start the next episode. Um, but it's nice to see something that's like a cohesive three all at once.
Yeah, yeah. No, it worked really well. I'm glad they did that. Um, the mystery of how Asajj is still alive is going to be crazy. Yeah, I'm eager to see how they did that. I'm really eager to see how. I hope they, and I assume they will. They're not going to just bring her back, and that's that. I'm sure they're going to kind of fill in the gap a little bit of how she's still around and what she's been doing since. So that'll be interesting to see play out. Yeah, well, I'm excited for the next episode. And for the rest of the season. And now I want my Bad Batch figures in TVC even more. So please, Hasbro, please, come on. We need those guys.
And like like what season are they gonna jump into? Like, are they gonna start again from season 3, or are they gonna go? I don't. It's kind of a weird thing when they have different looks throughout the different seasons.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess they started with Hunter for season 1 look, right? So I think they got to kind of finish that first, and
Hopefully.
then do like the Black series. They just repainted all of them. That'd be an easy thing for them to do after they sculpted all the the season 1 versions. I think having this project being called out as a top priority for the Empire gives this final season some hefty importance. It's not a side story, absolutely. And Bill, when you see this, this will make sense. There's some huge like lines being connected between this story and the Mandalorian. Like there's some stuff like that's like the implications of what we've seen so far in Bad Batch are pretty wide ranging. So
that's good, because I feel like they've been hinting at these kinds of connections and not really delivering on it over the first 2 seasons. So yeah, hopefully they'll deliver this one.
Yeah, and the sequel trilogy, I might add. Like there's like it's mentioned in the Bad Batch, and you see like you see like the connection right there from like a big piece of the whole overall story. So
cool. That's cool. Yeah. And I mean, Mandalorian's been kind of doing that too, like trying to push us mind wise towards that, Rise of Skywalker.
Yep, definitely. Britt says, got some night sister magic going. I'm sure, yeah, could very well be that, maybe she's filled with green gas like a Marok. I hope not, but who knows? Yeah, so no, off to a great start. I'm stoked for the rest of the season, and yeah, let's see what happens. All right. So we're at that part of the show where we talk about our latest acquisitions in our collections. So, Bill, I always let the guests go first. Is there anything you would like to share that you've recently acquired in your collection?
Well, so Hasbro wise, I've been like sort of very casually starting to dip back into the classified stuff, and I did finally pick up Shipwreck, and this figure is fantastic. I love the articulation on this figure, all the little details with the rope and the parrot and like all that stuff. Like this is a fantastic figure. So I did get that one in. There was this thing where I was like, everything was going on clearance, and I was waiting for like a good price on it, and then I finally had something on Amazon where I was like, I need to add enough to my cart to get free shipping on some random thing like glue sticks or something. And I was like, all right, let me get a Shipwreck. So I finally got that. And then the latest Mythic Legions wave came in, and they put out this genie or Jin character here that is just absolutely stunning. It's just kind of like blowing my mind. So this is the other. This whole wave is incredible. So that's the other one. And I haven't really picked up any Star Wars lately at all, honestly. It's been a little bit.
Right on. I don't have any Mythic Legions, but I think they look awesome. I think they're great. I already collect too many things though.
Yeah, you can't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, and also you guys in the comments, let me know what you've picked up this since we last were on. For me, I have gotten a few things. It's been kind of like slow lately, but I did get a few things recently. So you guys know how I love my Real Ghostbusters classic series from Hasbro. Well, I just picked up. I just got the last one. I already had the carded set, but I was putting together a loose set, and I finally got Winston Zedmore.
Nice.
Yeah, so I had this figure, back in the old days, but it's great to see him again and just kind of relive this crazy action
Play
that he's
features.
got.
Yeah.
And I really don't know what he comes with. It's like a thing, like a hammer of some sort. But he has the little orange ghost. He's got the little orange ghost, and you can put the orange ghost on his head like that. Which I don't know if that's. I mean, I haven't seen the show in ages, but I don't know if that's accurate. But you can also put it on top of his little hammer thing, right, like that. So, yeah. Fun stuff. In addition to that, I did receive this from Amazon. I got the SH Figure Arts, the Flash Batman.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I was, anything Michael Keaton Batman, I try to buy because Michael Keaton Batman. But yeah, I haven't opened it yet, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. Like the unmasked head looks nice. I know it's kind of hard to see here. But yeah, I am happy that it's here. I'm very happy that it's here. In addition to that, so I know you guys know I've been talking about these droids that I'm enamored with from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And last time we were on, speaking of CH33P, last time we were on, I showed you guys that I now have my own CH33P from Galaxy's Edge using spare parts that my bounty hunter that I sent to Galaxy's Edge acquired for me. As I mentioned in the last episode, right now at Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland, you can buy these parts for $12 a piece. So you can get the dome for $12, the two legs for $12 for the two arms legs, the body for $12, and the middle leg for $12. So for $48, you can build your own droid, which is pretty awesome because usually it's $100 to do it if you go into the assembly line and build it. And they have the parts they have enable you to build cheap right here. And I did him the right way. I gave him a middle leg that looks correct, and he has two arms. So yeah, I was able to do it myself. And one extra thing that came in this last week, my bounty hunter went back, and he was able to get me the correct personality chip for CH33P here, and I already have it in here. It's in the little door, and this is the personality chip that they made that is specific to CH33P, as you hear in Clone Wars. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on so you guys can hear it for yourself. And I do need to pair the remote, which is very, very, they made it really easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and set Cheap down here for just a sec. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my remote. All right. And here he is. And you're going to hear his sounds right here. And he sounds just like he does in Clone Wars. Ready? Yeah, fun times.
Can you show the remote? What does the remote look like? Is it like a little RC controller type?
I sure can. So the remote itself is this little contraption here.
Okay, that's cool.
And you cannot buy the remote, unfortunately, if you use the spare parts to build your own droid. But you can use, supposedly the app works, but I haven't been able to get it to work on my C series droids. It only works on the R series for some reason. But you can get these pretty cheap on eBay, like $30, not too bad. And strictly from using those spare parts, I have another droid here. Now this one I like even better because this is my own like creation. I'd like to introduce you all to C114V right here.
Nice.
Basically, it's like a chopper, essentially. Yep. And yeah, so this is just using the spare parts from Galaxy's Edge. So $48 to build the whole droid. He does have the wheel middle leg. He's got the bronze. I went with bronze for his dome arms. Then for this arm right here, also went with bronze.
The bronze
for that.
goes good with the blue. I like that combo.
It does. It does. I love it. It looks great. And I put the blue panels came from the blue body, which I have on another droid right now that I'll probably show another time. But yeah, I really like, I had him at first with the blue body and it was just too much blue. So I decided to break it up a little more. And now I'll go ahead and pair that remote to this one. So you guys can check this one out. Go ahead and get this going here.
I'm
super
a big
easy
fan of like kit bashing and like popping and swapping action figures. So this whole thing is really cool to me.
Oh, I love it. I love being able to like, I set up my droid and then like within a few weeks, I'm like, if only that one had a, a different color middle leg. And I'm like, oh, I got the parts, switch them around. Yep. But here you can now hear C114V. So basically it's the chopper sounds when you hear this one. There's no personality chip in this one. So by default, they have the C series body has the chopper sounds in it. I may put a personality chip in it, but I kind of like it with the chopper sounds. I think it's fun. Oh man. I have too much fun with these things. Way too much fun. So yeah, I named him C114V. And unless it's like something from Star Wars, like R2D2, BB-8, or CH-3PO that you just saw a few minutes ago, I give it my own names, and they have their own meanings, specific meanings behind them. But yeah, that's one of my favorite ones that I put together. So I'm glad to have both of these little guys here in the collection. But there's more. I've got one more thing that I almost missed out on because there's too many Hot Toys Star Wars. But when I have Dooku, right? I have Count Dooku. And then the Super Battle Droid, when I saw the blogger pics, I was like, how cool would it be to have Count Dooku on the shelf, flanked by Super Battle Droid and a regular battle droid.
Nice.
So this is sold out on Sideshow and has been for months. But a little secret here, Amazon Japan has a bunch of Hot Toys in stock, shipped and sold directly from Amazon Japan for like $200. So if you're missing anything that's not maybe the most popular of figures, you can get some of these for $200 shipped, which is pretty incredible.
Amazon Japan is always a great spot to check for import figures.
Yes.
You got to create a specific account for it, but it's a fantastic resource that a lot of people don't know about.
Absolutely. I've ordered cases of Mattel Jurassic World figures like months before they came out in the US, or like Mayfax or SH Figure. It's like you can get some really good stuff on there that you're going to pay a lot more for by using regular Amazon or Big Bad Toy Store.
Yep.
So definitely a good resource to have. Other than that, I think that's looking around here to make sure. I think that's all I've gotten since we were last live. So yeah, I'm still working on my droids. You can kind of see them like right over here.
Yep.
I've kind of mixed some of the parts around since I last showed them, but don't want to overwhelm anyone with droids. But I do want to know what you've added to your collections. I'm gonna do a little run through the comments here and see what you guys are talking about. Bum, bum, bum. Britt says Winston is her favorite. Justin says he got the N1 from Mando. I know I'm late to the party, but got it now. And the Obi-Wan Vader 2-pack. Very nice. Both solid offerings in the vintage collection. That Obi-Wan Vader pack is great. Like the Obi-Wan figure in there, I think doesn't get enough like love. It's a really good Obi-Wan figure. It's a completely brand new figure. Head is brand new on. It's awesome. First sister, welcome. Good to see you. 17.2 Nate says, I got the Black Series Captain Rex helmet. I pre-ordered my first hot toy today. The new Ahsoka. Very nice. Congrats on your first Hot Toys pre-order. I could be getting myself into serious trouble. Yes, you are. I can tell you that right now. Allison Troy, how's it going? Good to see you here. Thank you for joining us this evening. Dodgson, you must have a great movie collection. Yeah, I saw that conversation you guys were having. Vetmatic says 2 SHF Praetorian Guards with heavy blade and whip staff. Very nice. I have 2 of those myself. I'm missing one of them. I can't remember which one I'm missing. But yeah, those are solid for sure. What else have you guys been getting? I love all the side conversations in here. That's one of my favorite things to see. Thank you for bringing CH33P back from the droid world between worlds. My pleasure. Somebody had to do that poor little guy justice. Too many hot toys. Karis, how's it going? Too many hot toys. Star Wars came out this month. My wallet cannot handle. Yeah, tell me about it. Mary says, I got that battle droid from Amazon Japan as well. Very nice. Very nice. Sweet. Very cool. Well, I don't see any other acquisitions, so I guess we'll wrap this up with, we've been going for an hour and 43 minutes. So I guess we will end this with any final questions that you guys have that you would like to bring up. We will take a moment to answer any final questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, again, complaints. Put them in the suggestion box, and we may look at them or we may not. But yeah, what else is new, Bill? What else is what's coming up on your channel? What is the next round of content you're working on producing?
Well, I'm still publishing the second half of season 2 of the Toy Tubers. So coming this Tuesday is going to be the interview with Robo, formerly of the Fwoosh, but Robo don't know. And he's going to be, that'll be Tuesday night. And then I'm still cranking my way through this most recent Mythic Legions wave that just dropped. So got a lot of those reviews still coming. I just dropped one today. And I'm trying to do more Legions topic videos, like not like just stuff that where I just like cover a topic. So this Sunday I've got one that is like, what's the different bucks, the different like body types within Mythic Legions that'll be coming up. It's actually very like 5-6 minute video, but it's very informative for newcomers to the line to learn about the different types of bodies. And I want to try to make that like a Sunday thing where every Sunday I do, more of a scripted sort of like informational kind of drop. And then I got the live stream every other Thursday. I mean, we were live last night, so it'll be 2 Thursdays from now that we go live.
Awesome. And Adam says here that Britt had an acquisition. Sorry about that, Britt. I missed it. Oh, here we go. I finally bit the bullet and got some loyal subjects IDW turtles when they revealed Alapex is coming. I can no longer resist. Nice. Very nice. And I think you just answered this, Bill, when the next event is.
I guess that depends on the question. There are like Legions events where like the 4 horsemen do like events. There's actually one this weekend. They're doing ZoloCon in Pennsylvania. I forget which city it's in, but yeah, they're doing that. I mean, there's like a whole bunch of conventions and stuff. But I mean, the next like major big Mythic Legions event is always in November, where they do Legions Con, G Con, and like the whole big Mythic weekend thing.
Nice. Question from Justin: how do you feel about the retro collection getting figures that are not in TVC yet? You go first, Bill.
I mean, I don't even think about the retro collection too much. I kind of I like the idea of the retro collection. I think it's a cool thing. Um, but yeah, and I understand why a company would put out a figure in the retro before vintage, because they're just easier, simpler figures to make, and it's just like, here, we can put this. It's essentially like, let's put this name and visual and just pump it out, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I would much I would much rather they focused a little bit more on vintage collection.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind them a ton as long as eventually they come to the vintage collection. You know, like as long as they can kind of commit to them actually happening. Like I'm okay with them coming out early in retro or in Black Series, to be honest, because how many times have we seen it now that they do a Black Series figure that not everybody loves, and then they perfect it for the vintage collection.
Right.
So I'm fine with that. If they want to, you know, as long as they're taking their time, they're doing things right, you know, I'm cool with it. Let's see what else we got here. I got the Manja Man Bat Zero figure, huge wingspan. Nice. Very nice. Adam, you mentioned in Bill's podcast when coffee hour starts, and I forgot. Can you remind us? Cantina coffee hour. Yes. I don't have an exact date yet, but that will be coming soon. The idea behind coffee hour as opposed to social hour was to be able to meet with people that I have a very hard time connecting with for social hour because they live in other parts of the world. But for ironically, like for them, it's not coffee hour; it's their like social hour.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm kind of, you know, I'm trying to figure out those details. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, it's something that is coming, and you know, it'll definitely be on the horizon. And trust me, I will update here probably before anywhere else when I have information on that. And Mary had the same question. Thank you for asking and reminding about that. All right, so I don't see any other questions. Bill, did you have anything else you wanted to mention or throw out there?
No, thank you for having me on. Great time.
For sure. And just in case no one is following you yet, where can they go out on the interwebs in order to look you up?
So, DorkLair on YouTube, and on Twitter it's just DorkLair. On Instagram it's the DorkLair, because there's some girl named Claire. Way back when I first wanted to get just straight DorkLair on everything, there's this random girl named Claire who goes by DorkLair. And I couldn't get that one. So it's the DorkLair on Instagram. And then I'm also on Facebook, DorkLair, William Dronowski on Facebook. And I'm always in the Legions Facebook groups and some of the other Facebook groups, like the Vintage Collection Facebook group and so on. So yeah, I'm around. Just look up DorkLair.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you, Bill, for that information. And you guys, we do have links below. You can follow Bill on all the socials that we have down below on YouTube. Hit up his channel. Check out some of those videos. Phenomenal work. Bill, keep it up. Love the content. And, you know, really appreciate having you on Social Hour this evening.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah. And next week, we have Nilda from Appetite for Collectibles on the schedule. She will be joining us. And then the following week, kind of a surprise. I haven't announced it yet, but finalizing details, and I will be announcing it next week, most likely. And don't miss it. Don't miss it. But yeah, everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you. Thanks for all your comments, questions, for being part of this show. It would not be the same without all of your participation, all of your banter and conversations with one another, and your comments. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, no matter where you're listening and tuning in from out in the galaxy, as always, thank you for watching Cantina Social Hour. We will see you next time. Be well, be safe. May the force be with you. Have a great weekend, and tune in next week.